Creating a chart helps you visualize worksheet data so you can quickly spot trends and patterns. In this lesson, you learn to create a chart, switch a chart's columns and rows, and add a chart title. Here's a worksheet that tracks quarterly expenses. We're going to chart this data. A chart presents information in a graphic format, making it easier to see patterns, trends, and relationships. We want a chart that illustrates how expenses in each country vary from quarter to quarter. When we're finished, we'll have this column chart. For each country, we can see when expenses were higher and when they were lower. Let's get started. In step 1, I'll start Excel. Next, I'll go to the drive and folder where I store my data files, and I'll open the file exd-1.xlsx. Then I'll save a copy as exd-quarterly tour expenses. In step 2, I'll select the range A4 through E12 because I want to include the quarterly expenses as well as these country labels and these quarter labels. I don't want to include the totals because they would skew the chart. When you create a chart, you usually leave those out, unless totals are the only thing you're charting. Then I'll click the Quick Analysis tool. In step 3, I'll click the Charts tab. And here are buttons for common chart types. And when I point to one, we see a preview. Each type is suited for visualizing data in a different way. And this More Charts button lets you access all the chart types available in Excel. I'll click Clustered Column. And the new chart is inserted or embedded right in the center of the worksheet. Although you can easily move it somewhere else on the sheet, or onto a different worksheet, or onto a dedicated chart sheet. But before we start making changes, let's identify the basic elements of a chart. First, there are the axes. Currently, the countries are charted along the horizontal axis, or the x-axis, and the expenses are charted along the vertical axis, or y-axis. The horizontal axis, or x-axis, is often called the category axis because it usually contains the names of data groups, such as locations or months, or in this case, tour countries. The y-axis, or vertical axis, is also called the value axis because it often contains numerical values that help you interpret the size of chart elements. Here, for example, the vertical axis plots the quarterly expenses. The area inside the axes is the plot area. These grid lines extending across the plot area create a scale of measure for each value. And these columns are the data markers. Each data marker represents one point, that is, one value from the selected range in the worksheet. Each collection of related data points, like all the Quarter 1 expenses, is one data series. In this chart, there are 4 data series. This legend identifies the data series. And just outside the chart are 3 tools. The Chart Elements tool lets you add, remove, or change chart elements. The Chart Styles tool lets you set a style and color scheme. And the Chart Filters tool lets you change which data points and names are visible in case you don't want to show everything at once. All these features and even more are available on the 2 contextual tabs that appear on the ribbon when a chart is selected, the Chart Tools Design tab and the Chart Tools Format tab. In step 4, on the Chart Tools Design tab, in the Data group, I'll click the Switch Row and Column button. So now the quarters are plotted along the horizontal axis, and the countries are plotted as the data points. This is great for comparing the expense amounts per country in a given quarter, but it's not as good for comparing expenses within each country. In step 5, On the Quick Access toolbar, I'll click the Undo button. In Step 6, I'll click the Chart Title placeholder to show the text box. Then I'll click inside the text box. I'll press Ctrl-A to select the text. I'll type Quarterly Tour Expenses. Then I'll click somewhere else in the chart to deselect the title. The chart itself is still selected, as you can see by these sizing handles surrounding it. Also, when a chart is selected, you'll notice that a blue border surrounds the charted worksheet data. A purple border surrounds the cells being used as category axis labels, and a red border surrounds the cells being used as data series labels. In Step 7, I'll save my work. To try these steps yourself and to see some additional tips, turn to page Excel 82 in your book. You can also learn about creating sparklines, which chart data in individual cells right in the worksheet.